the EV battery space, it's something a lot of people probably want to understand or do understand and have a tangible impact on it as we have this massive global transition into electrification in vehicles. So where do you want to place yourself in that supply chain towards the EV battery? If it's going to be that boom that we think in the next 2 decades or so, does that mean increase Chemco's stake beyond 35? Is that the kind of investment you would want to make?
I think Chemco itself, in and of itself, will need to make significant investment in the near future in order to, secure its position in the battery industry and to actually improve its position, which is, I think, is necessary, especially given the fluctuations and the risk and uncertainties that are just laden with this market, right? And in that process, I think it is not out of, possibility that we will increase our Korea Zinc will increase its stake in Chemco, but nothing really has been decided in that regard.
So your company sits in an interesting paradigm at a very interesting time right now. The world is being bifurcated by politics, geopolitical stresses between China and the United States, and the war in Ukraine obviously exacerbating all of these things. Do you feel you need to take a side in this global dispute? I mean, I'm not saying you're doubling down on Australia, but you are increasingly relying on Australia and investing more there. Is that because you're more wary, perhaps, about China restrictions, the export restrictions, the IRA, and the like?
Well, a lot of our investment in Australia are, like I said, investments into renewable energy. So, we are not currently looking at any immediate investments in connection with battery materials and the minerals associated with battery materials in Australia. I mean, not directly anyway. So, with respect to IRA and the geopolitical changes that you're talking about, especially impacting the world of battery materials and its supply chain, there is no arbitrary decision for us to, take one country over the other. I think our IRA creates an opportunity for us and probably for other companies too, which incentivizes people to, develop projects in certain parts of the world rather than, some other parts. And we'll definitely take that into consideration when we make investments and its decisions.
Obviously, zinc refining is high energy intensity, high cost involved with the energy input. So how important is it to accelerate that transition if you are making more of a transition into green hydrogen, for example?
Well, I think we are looking at various ways to accelerate or to pursue this strategy as rigorously and aggressively as we can, as we speak. So I'm not really thinking in terms of how to accelerate this even more. Battery-related materials, especially in connection with nickel, the market is crazy, right? So the challenge here, I think, is perhaps not to blindly accelerate our pursuit of finding a segment of the supply chain that we can be really, really good at, and to manifest that plan into a business, but to find a segment that can exist in 5-10 years' time amidst this fast-changing market.